from 2016 or 2017 or something, you would see that I was still talking about this console back then. That's how impactful this console was to me, and without a doubt, it is probably the most important device I've ever gotten, or that I was ever gifted, that I ever had, in my personal opinion, personally for me. And I think a lot of people would say the same thing about their favorite gaming console. I didn't really grow up with like the NES or SNES or any of those things, not even like the Nintendo 64, kind of a little bit of the PlayStation 1, but I watch a lot of videos of like some retro, perspectives or whatever they're called, about people's favorite games and development of games and development of consoles, and a lot of people swear that the console that they grew up with at the time, again, was the most impactful device they've really ever had, and more so than even iPhones or Androids or tablets or whatever, it was probably the Nintendo DS Lite that really started my love, I would say, for just electronics and just for different devices and the modding of devices and just the customization of it. And it really came down to this Nintendo DS Lite that I was given, I think, in like 2007 or 2006 or 2008, something like that. Now, the Nintendo DS Lite was the successor of the original Nintendo DS. Now, I have the original Nintendo DS. I think everyone would agree that is a very, very interesting console in and of itself. I think the Nintendo DS Lite was one of the smartest things Nintendo has ever done, and the design language of the DS Lite is really, really good. The original Nintendo DS, I still don't understand what they were doing there. That was just a kind of a console that was all over the place. I guess they had to just get a generation of that console out, so it kind of makes sense, but still, that was a very, very unique looking console to say the least. With the Nintendo DS Lite, definitely a far better console in almost every single way, which is something I love seeing about this particular console. Now, design-wise, it was a folding device, so I think it was a interesting choice that Nintendo kind of did here. We all kind of know that for the most part, if you're going through and if you're going to buy some sort of device, well, having a folding mechanism could mean that over time it could break or whatever the case is, but it really wasn't that big of a deal for me. I actually kind of liked it, and it was supposed to be kind of that dual screen technology with it having a foldable type of I guess architecture to it, which was very different than what we were getting on some of the competition. If you remember, consoles like the PlayStation P and like all these other ones, those were giving you a little bit of a different design language for the most part. On those languages, it was more so what you'd expect from a portable console, just kind of it being a rectangular design. This one was completely different. This thing had those dual screens, which was really, really cool, and with the Nintendo DS Lite, this thing looked beautiful. It was a really good looking console, and this once again in and of itself was one of my most favorite things going on for this particular device at that time. So definitely from that perspective alone, it definitely gets a thumbs up for me from the design language. It was sleek, it was slim, and I could look at this thing for hours and